Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 689 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and joining me today on this lovely Tuesday morning, I have Chris DeBona.
Hi, and I'm going to do something a little obnoxious. Rob, take it.
And Rob Roseboom.
Hello?
Obnoxious is happening. Look, it's happening left and right.
I had the wrong profiles logged in the wrong places.
Well, now we have Chris DeBona Companion, who we haven't seen since last Friday.
Oh, for God's sakes, no.
It makes me wonder, if these video chat companies do any testing.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. Do you want me to switch back, or
I do not care.
Just stick with this?
I do not care, but you can make that window substantially squatter.
Well, I'm going to put it into my zone.
Into your fancy zone?
My fancy zone, yeah.
All right.
There you go.
You can make it even squatter in your zone. But let's see what we got.
Is that because I have a companion?
No, it could have been a little squatter before.
Well, you should have told me that when I was making the zone.
I'm sorry. I didn't know about your zone. I didn't know we were comfortable talking about each other's zones on the live stream.
Can we just all get along this morning, everyone?
I'm
not trying to stress you out, son.
On a week of peace.
The world's crazy enough as it is. Can we just get along?
Okay.
It's true. So we can start with the Tonga eruption animated GIF. That's cool.
It is.
It is crazy.
It's hard to imagine things so large that they can be registered at this scale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, did you guys grow up with the book 21 Balloons?
No.
So, it's fantastic. When I retire, I'm going to write a book about the influence the book 21 Balloons had on technology. I'm convinced that every hardcore nerd read that book and was like, I'm making that future. So what it was is this
book that only one of the three of us have tried. You're convinced? Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm serious.
Data points.
I've asked a number of very prominent technology people who are in the news often if they read it as a child, and 201, they're like, absolutely. Everyone wants. So the story is one of these, League of Explorers talks is being given by a fella, and he had taken off in a balloon to circumnavigate the globe. And this is in like the 1920s or something, or 1880s. I don't even remember. But
one of those times where you get to talk using the old-timey newsy voice.
Yeah, see? Well, so as he was exploring and as he was over an island in near Jakarta, he ate some chicken, and he was dumping out his trash, and a seagull grabs a hold of the chicken as it's falling, goes on top of the balloon and starts pecking away and eating it, popping the balloon, letting out the air, so he had to land suddenly. He lands on an island, and he's rescued on the island's beach by one of the island's residents,
which I assume is the population of a inhabited oversized peach.
No, it wasn't by Roald Dahl. Anyway, so he's rescued. He's taken to this beautiful estate, and they give him terrific food. And it turns out that the island is inhabited by these people, and everyone has a remarkable estate. And they're obviously very, very rich. And the reason is because there's a volcano on the island, and the volcano tubes are just diamonds as far as the eye can see.
Oh.
Zen's now, I've read this book.
Yeah, and everyone there drinks orange soda, right? And they have to...
No, it's not Waponi Woo.
Is it the Waponi Woo?
All right, never
It's not Waponi Woo. But the people who created Joe vs. the Volcano had obviously read 21 Balloons. Anyway, so
that's all good nerds have.
he rotates houses as a guest, and because what they do is every night of the lunar cycle, a different house hosts the entire island for dinner, and they have all these like time-saving inventions, like tables that go into the floor so you can just mop the floor and clean everything up, or sheets that are on a continuous roll that go into the basement and get washed. It's fantastic. Anyway, so of course there's a problem. The volcano is actually Krakatoa, and so it erupts as Krakatoa did, and
as Krakatoans tend to.
And he escaped with his life, and actually everyone did, in this massive marble. So they weren't great with the whole weights and measures, but massive, beautiful marble balustrades thing being held up by 21 balloons, one for each family. Anyway, that thing crashes later, and he ends up telling his story to the League of Explorers. And to prove his fabulous story, he pulls from his pocket a baseball-sized diamond. Anyway, it's a great book.
Does the fabulous baseball diamond get stored in Manhattan so that the Muppets can steal it in the Great Muppet Paper?
Probably. Yeah. It probably inspired Muppets Take Manhattan. Good connection, Mr. Maldo.
Yep, I'm on it.
Anyways, but when Krakatoa exploded, which is why I'm talking about this, it was heard around the world, right? It was famously
so they say
huge explosions.
Yeah, I don't know, Chris. That story doesn't sound real. I think it's true.
Krakatoa was real. The rest of it was fiction.
Fair enough.
I'm going to link to it in the doobly-doo.
Alrighty. So they put a trailer up for Moon Knight.
Yes, they did.
And, well, I'll let you guys state your opinion before I vent.
So, was Legion? Do you remember Legion?
Yeah, I liked Legion. First season was awesome.
Maybe it could be that good.
Ooh.
But they're not going to lean into the Legion-ness. They're going to lean into the MCU-ness.
The darkness, the dark side here.
Yes, it's just, I don't know.
I mean,
why
are you angry at Moon Knight, Rob Mulder?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the first of the Marvel trailers like ever, I think, where I've watched it and just like I don't care. Like I'm like
it's the first one because the Eternals didn't do it for you.
You know what? I was willing with the Eternals. Like I like there was enough cool stuff in the Eternals trailer that I was just because it has all those weird spaceships and it has like people looking all serious stuff. It has components that I like. This bored me. Like I wasn't interested in this.
And this gave me big Dark Knight vibes. Like I guess this is just their Batman.
Schizo Batman.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird sort of character. Moon Knight, sort of a very niche character. Maybe they could do something with it. The Eternals, on the other hand, having just watched it for the first time, maybe the worst superhero movie I've ever watched.
Ooh, that can't be true. Have you seen the 90s Nick Fury?
Oh, from the Captain Marvel?
Like from the 90s. There was a Nick Fury movie.
Oh, yeah, but that's not MCU. I'm with Rob. So, Rob, when did you watch The Eternals? When did you see it?
This weekend.
Oh, over the weekend. So you
over
hadn't seen
9 installments.
Yeah. It took me
I want to get your fresh feelings.
It took me 3 days to finish it just because I couldn't care about anyone in the cast.
And I actually liked Kingu's valet. That was probably my takeaway.
Another sticking point for me, perhaps this is just personal for me, was that they invested all this time into making a very diverse cast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they had the diverse cast play folk heroes from regions, from countries that those people obviously weren't from. Like Gilgamesh was a Mongolian for some reason. You know what I mean? It just, what?
It all makes sense.
Just the whole thing was a mess.
It didn't know what it wanted to be. So I think it's actually worse than a mess. I think it actually undid all the good things of the in-game phase 4. Right?
Oh, wow.
I think it was so bad that it went back in time and it sucked good things out of the rest of the MCU.
The story of
like it really fucked it up. Excuse my
the
language.
Story of like those ancient heroes and even some gods being actual superheroes could be an interesting story.
Sure. Yes.
But we are spoiled now. We are in the time of streaming. If you're going to tell that story, it is so complex. You have to do it in more than 2 hours.
Yeah.
So that I care about each of the characters. And it was just all smashed together, making it sort of confusing because it's a big story to tell. There's lots of moving parts. lots of characters.
These
And it's just
what it
it's
comes
very
down to
yeah,
is
go
we've
ahead.
been spoiled. I think you hit the nail on the head. We've been spoiled by the Netflix streaming. So I'm thinking about Umbrella Academy and I'm thinking about Doom
Yeah.
Control, 2 large ensemble cast TV shows. And guess what? By the end of an 8-episode season, each of the episodes or each of the major characters has had the bulk of a 50-minute episode dedicated to them. So you know who they are. You care about them. You
Yeah.
get their motivations. This has 10 friggin' Eternals.
Yeah, think about it. They spent as much time on 10 Eternals as they spent on the Colleen Wing character in Iron Fist, who I liked quite a bit. Think about that. Iron Fist's fist got more screen time than all of the Eternals put together.
Too many people.
It's also it was just weak. It was such a weak damn story. And also, can I be honest with you? I think Gemma Chan, she's very pretty. I think her only role is sad robot at this point.
Yeah.
Like, she was a sad robot in Humans. She was basically a sad robot in Crazy Rich Asians. She's like, I'm a sad robot.
Was she a sad murderous robot in Captain Marvel the first time she was in the MCU?
She was just sort of a sad mannequin in Captain Marvel. You know, she was just sort of in the background, and that was it.
I was thinking about the closest comparison, I think, in the MCU would be Guardians of the Galaxy, but they made that movie very much be Peter Quill's story.
Yeah.
And so it has the huge ensemble, but we're still mostly following Peter Quill through it.
And quite frankly, they figured out the key to that. The key to that is comedy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The key, you are more invested in and actually feeling endeared to those characters.
Yeah.
To care about what they are going to do.
They're a bunch of lovable goofballs.
Yeah. And the finger guns was the closest they had to comedy, but so stupid.
Oh, so dumb. Oh, dumb. Dumb. Pew, 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 pew. Finger guns.
Okay, so since we're on Guardians of the Galaxy.
You know what I was thinking about? Wait, I have to say this then. I don't know. I had a soundtrack whenever Kingu was on screen with the finger guns, and it was the Finger Bang song from South Park. Finger bang, bang you into my life. Girl, you like the finger bang, and it's all right. Finger bang.
I'm adding a rhythm track.
That's what I heard the entire time was that soundtrack.
I believe you.
Okay.
James Gunn, who did the better MCU ensemble movie, also this week dropped the first 3 episodes of maybe the thing I've enjoyed the most so far this year.
Was it good?
Peacemaker is extraordinary.
I am going to have to regretfully agree with Mr. Malta on this one.
Are you agreeing or disagreeing?
I am agreeing.
Wow.
I thought that Peacemaker Peacemaker was my least favorite of Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the shtick he was doing, but maybe it was just that John Cena isn't as good an actor as the other people around him, or the tone of the other weirdos wasn't exactly like his. That character just didn't fit into the group with me, as well as the other ones. So I didn't really enjoy him that much. But Peacemaker hits the right tone with him, gives him the right ensemble. I thought Peacemaker was great.
I'm really looking forward to watching it, I admit. So.
And has the best animal sidekick I've seen in the television show.
Eagly hugs him.
Oh, Eagly hugs him?
Have you ever been hugged by an eagle?
No, they usually just pluck your eyeballs out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's what he does to most other people.
Right. He's got a line and something like, Eagly likes you. He says, Eagly tried to peck my eyes out. He says, yeah, but not very hard.
Not very hard. Yeah, no, there are eagles around the Puget Sound, and it's like, I mean, they're remarkable animals. I gotta say, all the raptors around here, it's like, whew, we're never letting our cat outside. That's it. No way.
That's true. So. They ate Newman. I guess the raptors didn't eat Newman. It was the spit slime dinosaurs.
That was velociraptors. I'm talking about raptors.
Different raptors.
That was the Dilophosaurus. It's not a raptor.
Oh, it was a Dilophosaurus that ate Newman?
The spitty ones.
Oh, right, because he had the...
Yep.
Yeah,
You should have recorded that, Malda. That's all I gotta say.
So, Peacemaker for me was just straight up gleeful joy. It was the fun of Suicide Squad, which I really really liked Suicide Squad, and I get what Rob is saying about John Cena being a lot in that. I think that the problem with for John Cena in that movie is that character was so big that in order to like to only give him the small little bits that he had in that movie, he didn't have the room that he needed in order to be what that character was. And in a movie that's got Harley Quinn and a talking shark, I mean, it's hard to hold
and
up.
don't forget the best character, the Polka Dot Man.
The Polka Dot Man
was fantastic.
for sure. So it's hard for John Cena, who he needs that room. And what the TV show is giving you is he's still the monster that you got from the first, or from the Suicide Squad movie, but they're kind of giving him enough backstory and enough justification for his kind of horribleness to make sense in its own horrible way. But I'm super excited, and I'm looking at the list of what's coming up on new episodes, and I am far more excited about the next episode of Peacemaker than I am about the next book of Boba Fett.
I wonder if James Gunn had gotten his hands on the Eternals, what he would have done with it. You know,
I think he would have been smart enough to know that that's not a property for him.
Yeah, he probably would have just like said, "How about I do one Eternal?" You know,
yeah. Or he can do Eternals 2, where you have killed off a third of the Eternals, and so you can actually have a cast that you can manage.
This is the thing. If they had just covered like a little bit of the Eternals, it would have been okay. It would have been fine. It would have been a mini Marvel movie, like, oh, look at the Eternals in Egypt or whatever. I don't know. Like fully like make it like the past. So there's no question about their interactions with Thanos and all the rest. But they didn't. They leaned in it. They're like, oh, they were here the whole time. It's all fine. And then they had that weird ending with Harry Styles and Patton Oswalt, who I love, but dude, no. It's like you're literally sucking good things out of the past of the MCU. I feel like I need a refund on Endgame after watching the end credits of Eternals. It's like, no, you just undid all the feelings.
You don't think that Icarus could just walk out, take Thor's hammer, and say "F you" and leave?
It's so dumb.
So
dumb.
So
I watched. Go ahead.
Are we going to talk about Boba Fett? Should we do that now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk about Boba Fett. Tell me about the scooters.
No good.
So here's the thing: I'm going to need the world's most or the universe's most dangerous bounty hunter to actually win a fight at some point in the show about him. That's what I'm going to need, right?
Pretty much.
I'm going to need him to actually toughen up and beat somebody if he's going to take over Jabba's territory, right?
Yeah.
And the ridiculous colored, day-glow colored scooter gang that Boba Fett decides to pick up as his first like muscle.
Yep.
Like the artistic choices for that boggle my mind.
The mod scooter gang.
Yes, but I could live with them, right? What I couldn't live with is that chase scene was the worst chase scene I think I've ever seen in a television show.
Yeah.
Was this the one on Vespas? No.
Yes. Those
heard about this.
Those scooters approach speeds of maybe 10 or 15 miles an hour at some point during this chase scene. You look at it, it is so slow and so poorly done.
Hey guys, maybe punch the gas. The Jawas are briskly walking and they're keeping up with you.
Yeah, it's just I couldn't believe that as tight a rein as Disney holds on those things, that someone didn't sit and look at that and say, this chase scene is terrible. We either have to redo the whole thing or maybe have something else happen in the segment.
So here's
point of personal privilege, moderator. This isn't like a joke meme. This is what they use.
Yeah.
That is what they used.
Yeah. Oh, good God.
Yeah.
That's his gang. And they've augmented themselves with droid parts.
Yeah, they're all half robot.
So they're all cyborgs riding their crazy modded scooter.
This is like the worst episode of Doctor Who from like 15, pre Eccleston. Like, what is going on here?
No, all those
Why
side
did
mirrors,
this has
all those side
12
mirrors, and the blue one you need all of those.
Why do they have all the mirrors?
So
There's
that's
12 mirrors.
okay. So that's a visual reference to mod scooters from the 60s. It's like the
Yeah,
it's
I get
clear.
it.
So let me be honest here. As a Looney Tunes fan of the Who, I have spent a fair bit of time, watching things that have mod culture and mod aesthetic.
Sure.
The bikes they basically took a hybrid of the race cars from the 50s, the American Graffiti race car hot rod
the
thing,
American Graffiti,
and
blah,
Vespa
blah, blah.
scooters. I get it.
It's
That
so dumb.
that said, I would have been totally fine with how silly these scooters look. Look, I can buy that there's a gang of street urchins that pimp out their scooters. They would have to spend a lot of time washing their scooters in a dirty place where water is expensive, but whatever. My problem with it was just that the chase sequence didn't justify the toys. And what I'm wondering, so have you guys watched the behind the scenes on how they did the tank thing? It was like episode 7 last season, where the giant tank with Boba Fett or with Mando and Bill Barr are driving into the city. Do you know the sequence?
No.
Okay, well,
Oh yeah.
they filmed the whole
Did
thing.
they have a Zoot Suit Riot with
Yep.
the 50s mod squad?
Yep, they filmed that whole thing in the void, so the truck is never moving, and they have this fight on top of the truck. But the truck never moves. I'm wondering if that's what actually happened here, is that they tried. So the truck worked because it's a big truck moving at a relatively at a medium speed through a forest and a street. But in order for that effect to work with scooters, you have to believe that they're going 40 or 50 miles an hour, and the effect did not work.
Yeah, and I'm not exaggerating, Chris, when I say there's turns in the chase scene where it literally looks like they're going 10 or 15 miles an hour.
It's embarrassing.
It's like mobility scooters chasing this guy.
No, it's so bad that I believe that there's a technical problem at play here. I think that they might have had a problem with their void, or they maybe they built practical scooters that just didn't work correctly. Like, it's so bad that the only thing I can believe is technical problem and time deadline.
Well, it kills me because if you think back to the original chase scene on the scooters in
Jedi?
Mirror Woods and Jedi, like they weren't going very fast, but they were bringing the cameras in quickly. It was clever, smart filmmaking,
Good editing.
and that was 30 years ago, right? I mean,
yeah,
what happened?
There's something is wrong.
Are we just going to give them a pass because of COVID on stuff like this? But sure, okay,
Maybe.
let's do that.
Maybe
But
I would really
is the
honestly
rest of the story just like you're like, well, except for the Zoot Suit mod squad race, it's great, but that's not what I'm hearing here.
No, they're definitely having a problem with they're trying to tell the story. They're trying to give Boba Fett a heart, right?
Yep.
And they're trying to show him struggling from escaping the Sarlacc pit to rebuilding an empire.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is he's soft in every way. There's no meanness to him. There's no edge to him. He really hasn't won a fight besides when he was living with the sand people for a while.
But who can't kill a sand person? I mean, please.
Well, no, he was with them.
Oh.
So that, there's a whole story arc there that is supposed to make you care about that. And I guess
I like that sequence.
Successful to an extent. We'll see where it goes because, well, I don't want to spoil.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
The last thing that happened seemed kind of weird to me. The other thing that I've seen people complain about that I personally didn't care that much about was Danny Trejo and the little Rancor.
Yeah.
But the little Rancor has that's actually in one of the Star Wars cartoons. I can't remember which one.
Bad Batch. They brought Moki.
Yeah. So that wasn't an entirely new idea. It's in there. In that Rancors aren't necessarily horrible monsters.
Right. They're just big puppies that some people train mean.
Right.
I don't know, man. I'm worried about this one. This is Falcon and the Winter Soldier bad at this point, and it's concerning to me. Because this
Yeah,
how I felt about Falcon and the Winter Soldier is that you probably they had what 6 episodes, and they probably had 3 hours of good material. And I'm afraid that by the time we've got 7 episodes of Book of Boba Fett, we're gonna have about 3 hours of good material. Bummer.
Sorry, I was responding on another channel about the Microsoft buying Activision thing.
I
So.
thought I had that one on the list, but I don't
It's
see
up
it.
top.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
oh
up
there we
top.
go.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. Microsoft is buying Activision for
$70
$68.7 billion.
Yep.
Man, that's
I
extraordinary.
guess he figured out how to deal with his employee problems.
Right?
Make them Microsofts.
Yep. Well, didn't they? There's another story going around about how like 15 people got laid off.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, they fired a bunch of people, rabble rousers, and then they announced the deal like all in one day.
Right. I wonder.
Let me find it.
I wonder if those people, if their golden parachutes benefit from that deal, or if their golden parachutes are burnt.
That's a good question. So here's the thing: when you dump someone for workplace misconduct, the way they are, there's a hole in your golden parachute clauses, and it's been there 10, 15 years, where it's basically like if there's a morals, it's kind of like a morals clause.
Sure.
Where it's like, if you bring that kind of attention to the company, we get to just bounce you. And then it becomes a matter of litigation. So what'll usually happen is they'll go to these kinds of people. If they're senior enough, they'll give them a payout because it's cheaper than fighting in the courts and dragging it out for years. Right. Yay. And it's, and I'll bet you during the negotiations with Microsoft said, you know what? We want to buy you. We want to take this problem off your hands. But if these people are on the rolls, it's not happening. And they're like, okay. And they
probably got paid off to avoid litigation, and the circle of poor management continues.
Yep. Well, the theory is no, Microsoft's management of this kind of problem is way more advanced. I mean, look at how we handled big guys. And so they exited 37 people and 44 were disciplined. So there you go.
Yay. What are the big games? So Activision Blizzard, I assume Warcraft is still a big deal. But what's their big game?
Yeah, but it's not. It's the Call of Duty franchise.
Is it Call of Duty?
If you had to pick something, like, so Warzone apparently was making $500 million a day for a while in fees and stuff. DLC and cosmetics and add-ons and stuff. I mean, like, it was crazy how much money they were making with Warzone. And this is why all the people are protesting. All the people are like, this sucks. And it's like, meanwhile, they're just like, yeah, they own Candy Crush. They own, and they own Blizzard, man.
It's sad to me that Blizzard, you have to think about Candy Crush in the same breath as you do World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Like, there are not two further apart games in any way except for addictive potential.
Yeah.
Well, I guess good on somebody who massively got paid.
Diablo.
Oof. Good game.
Overwatch, Hearthstone, so.
Well, let's see. Well, we got a story about satellites.
We've been talking about this for years.
Yeah.
It's like, all these satellites, they're above Hubble. They're above all the terrestrial telescopes, and they're a mess. They have to now spend a huge amount of time and money basically editing out the Starlink satellites.
Yep.
Of their imagery. So.
Noise pollution.
Anyway, the reason I noticed this is after he put this up, and it's basically like, Starlink, please paint your satellites, do something. This is not good, right?
Yeah.
Or, find some way to not compensate the astronomy community, but, you're basically taking down an entire discipline.
Yep.
And then like all the weird Elon Musk defenders came out of the woodwork and were like hurling abuse on the guy. And it's like, he's changing the world. He's bringing internet to everybody. And it's like,
yep. You know who never read 21 Balloons? Elon Musk.
No, I'm certain he read it. I'm absolutely certain he read it. But yeah. So anyway.
All right, Chris, you also shared a funny one, the NFT and copyright thing.
Oh God, this is good. It's so good. It's one of those ones. It's almost too good to check, but it appears to be that this group of crypto bros, crypto enthusiasts called the Spice DAO, bought a copy of George Orwellski's Dune's script for 2.66 million when it was predicted to go for 42,000. The last one went for 42,000 as a rare book. And they said, now that we've done this, we can go ahead and make derivative. It was as if they had bought the rights to Dune.
Right.
And it's like,
they don't understand.
Really?
Right.
Really?
That's a funny one.
This damn thread. It's so funny. It is the funniest crap ever. So now our mission is to make the book public to the extent permitted by law. 2, produce an original animated limited series inspired by the book and sell it to a streaming service.
Ooh.
And then support derivative projects from the community. And it was funny because Cory Doctorow, he wrote about this and he's like, listen, actually fan fiction and works inspired by Dune, that's an interesting thing to contemplate and do. But that's not what this is. This is a bunch of idiots who don't understand how the world works.
Yep.
Buying a book, and then they're going to cut NFTs from the book. And it's like, oh my God. It's like stupid all the way down.
So my favorite NFT related stupid thing that I was reading about recently, as I'm sure you're aware, there's been a number of incidents of NFTs being bought at low prices and then sold or bought again at really high prices, and it's debatable about who's doing the buying and selling, but it seems pretty likely that people are buying from themselves.
Well, they're also they're front running. They're money laundering.
Right.
But let's be clear.
Well, let me just finish this.
When you say money, is it in Ethereum?
It's Ethereum.
So when it turns into real money, that's when the crime happens.
Here's the thing, though. The rule is that when a transaction occurs. So what is in theory happening is Crypto Bro takes Ethereum, buys NFT, then Crypto Bro buys NFT from himself, also using Ethereum, but at $1 million, multi-million-dollar valuation. But what that means is that a multi-million-dollar NFT transaction has just occurred, which is a taxable event. And what I was reading is that there's some level of expectation that a whole bunch of people that did this last year are going to suddenly walk in and have multi-million-dollar tax bills because they sold something to themselves using their own Ethereum. And that which created then taxable events for them.
They basically upped their basis cost.
Right. So in theory, they, like if they bought their NFT for $1 million, they probably have to pay $200,000 in order to break even on that, depending on.
Well, it's really weird because if you get away from the thought that everything about cryptocurrency is really the greater sucker theory, you're always waiting for the greater sucker. You're waiting for the next level of the Ponzi scheme. And if you're the last level of the Ponzi scheme, you're the one who gets boned.
Holding the bag,
right?
Baby.
It's like, I'm going to bump the price up. Sure, I'll take on the tax obligations. I'm bumping the price up because there's going to be some sucker who's going to pay more than all the tax load.
I don't know. My favorite NFT story of the week was that our former president and first lady have their own line of NFT now.
Yep.
God.
Because of course they do.
Of course they do.
If there's a scam, there's a Trump.
Yeah.
They're drawn to it. Like Robert Rodriguez to multicolored Vespa scooters traveling 4 miles an hour through the streets of Mas Espa.
Yes.
Like flies on crap. You'll find a Trump under every con.
All right, which one of you guys put up the moose story?
This one is actually me. Yeah.
I was surprised. I was thinking that would be a Rob story.
Yeah, it's a very Rob story, right? No, what it is I've been seeing a number of mooses lately. So when I was skiing, There was this guy here. Look at that
hello.
guy.
Did you
The
take
proud
that picture?
moose. I took that picture from a ski lift at
Nice.
Park City. You know, and so I texted my daughter. I was like, "Hey, when you're right at Tower 11, look to the right. You'll see the moose." And she's like, "Dad, there were 2 of them." So she has another picture of this moose's. Like, this is like one moose. This is a different moose because the antlers are different, right? And then
That's
there
a
was apparently
cow.
like a smaller moose, you know, so like a moose family just hanging out. I'm like, mooses are the best. And then this somebody basically in Salt Lake City, which is down the canyon from where I was, is like, "Oh, what do you do when you have a moose in your backyard?" And I'm like, this is a Zen story. This is a story that has to be shared with Robert Rosemel.
Yeah. Well, the first thing you do is you don't go in the backyard.
Stay away.
Yeah, because they're big animals.
They
People
are
don't-
huge.
They're enormous.
Yeah.
Oh, they tranked him.
Like that picture you shared, the bull moose that you had a picture of. That's a young one. You can tell his antlers are pretty small.
Yeah, right.
So that's maybe a year or two. Another one that you had a picture of was a cow.
Yeah.
She's probably out there with another young one. I mean, those are little moose.
Yeah, and for a little moose, this thing's like 8-9 feet long, right? These are 2 trees. Tree, moose. I mean, they're amazing animals. That's all I'm going to say. I don't ski near moose, just for the record. They're down in the canyon that you can't ski in.
So what was the story?
Oh, the moose in the Salt Lake City backyard?
Yeah.
A moose showed up. They called the Department of Wildlife, and they came, tranked it, and took it away.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the range is for them there, but I have to imagine a moose in the city is pretty rare.
Yeah, it's got to be unusual, right?
We got we live where deer roam free. I can't imagine moose. They're bigger, right? They're substantially bigger.
Yeah.
Way bigger, like 2 sizes bigger. Elk are way bigger than deer, and moose are way bigger than elk.
Safe. Well, folks,
Kind of all we got.
That was all we got. We're skipping the movie this week.
Yeah.
So we'll reconvene on Friday, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what we'll do.
Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
See ya.
Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
Good talking to you two.
I was Rob Commander Tacomaldo. That was episode 689 of Geeks in Space, and we will see you on Friday with more news if you're lucky. Bye.